What's up, guys? David Paul here, the voice of Boise, with the legend himself, Coach Skip Hall. He coached 31 years in college football, has coached names like Nick Saban, Warren Moon, Jack Lambert, has spoken with people like Tim Teebow, man of culture, man of vision, and today we are here promoting his book, Coach 'em Up. All right, Coach 'em Up, which is a great book when it comes to leadership, vision, passion. With this book, so many people, even Nick Saban, saying on the back here, basically touching on how you were an impact in his life and talking about your leadership. He says your leadership inspires and influences all who are lucky enough to know him. He always went above and beyond and encourages players and fellow coaches. That's kind of some of the main principles, with you writing this book.
Well, there's one lady here in Boise that has bought 350 copies of the book.
Wow.
And she gives them out to everyone. She thinks this book ought to be in every home in America. I mean, that's what she told me. The basic premise of why I wrote the book is because the power of influence and encouragement changes lives. That's what it did for me. The influence, the encouragement I received from many coaches, and a couple of them particularly, changed my life and helped shape me into who I became as a coach, and we've experienced a lot of success along the way.
How does one lead a group of individuals who are successful in a successful way?
No simple answer to that, but besides the coaching 31 years, I also was a business manager for 25. So I experienced both sides of the ball, so to speak, and it's the same. It starts with character of the individuals. Especially if you're recruiting or hiring people, it's all about their character to start with, and then obviously. You got to find some doers, some goers, people that are fired up and coachable, willing to learn, and the leadership's got to coach them up.
Right.
And that's what it's all about. You get the right people with character.
This book, we've had real estate agents buy this book, lenders, business owners, entrepreneurs, and more. This book really applies to all industries.
Everything.
Everything, because we're just talking at the base of growing a culture, leadership, that's it. And every organization, no matter what industry you're in, you need to read this, because most people like to refer things to sports when it comes to growing a culture, or everybody working together to accomplish one goal, everybody doing their job. If they want to become a good leader, what would you say?
Before you can lead, you've got to learn how. and obviously, some people just have a given personality that relates to people, but by and large, leadership is learned. You've got to get a good plan together. The way you can tell a leader is look behind, see if anybody's following.
Chuck Pagano, former NFL head coach and Indianapolis coach, says here, Coach Hall wanted our football team to take on a new identity and culture. A culture, this is what I love here, a culture of positivity and building relationships. He wanted a culture of accountability that was done the right way, not belittling, but building each other up.
Right.
So a culture of positivity, not crushing people down, but building them up.
Let me tell you the story that gave me the title of this book. So I was coaching at the University of Missouri. I was the defensive coordinator. I was just there about 2 weeks when a young man came to my door, and he looks like he was in his early 30s, and I thought I recognized him, but I wasn't sure. He introduced himself, and he sat down to tell me, he said, "Can I tell you the story of why I'm here?" He said 10 years ago that he and I were together at the University of Washington. He was a walk-on player. I was one of the coaches at Washington. And he said one day he was really messing up at practice. He was stumbling and bumbling and fumbling, and he said, I heard the commotion going on with the young coach yelling at him, screaming at him, cursing at him. So he said, I walked over and got between the two of them, and he expected me to turn to him and correct him. He said, instead, I turned to the young coach and said 5 words, coach him up, not down. Coach him up, not down.
Coach him up, not down.
That philosophy has really been proven year after year and in every way. You coach people up, not down.
And you kind of told me off camera a little bit about what award this book got. Yeah, the medal. Touch on what that was.
Yeah. So, an organization called the North American Book Awards contacted me, and then in the mail we got a nice medallion, and the book got special recognition, and So we're definitely pleased about that. They look at a lot of books, and,
Yeah.
and they only award very few. So we're grateful and thankful for that.
The one common thing we have between us is I play football at Boise State, but Coach
Right.
Peterson,
Right.
that alliance, talk about that relationship,
Yes.
culture, and how that has impacted this community.
Yes. Well, when we moved back to Boise 15 years ago, got connected with Coach Pete because I'd been the coach there and he was there now, and we got together. We spoke together a couple times and got to know each other well. And then a number of years later, the University of Washington job opened up, and they called me because I had coached there 12 years. They knew I was in Boise, knew I knew Coach Pete. They wanted to know all about him. And I basically told them, well, if I were you, I'd get on a plane and get down here right now and sign him up. 2 days later, they were here.
He was gone.
He was gone. But
So
of course,
you
he had to go through some interview stuff. But, I mean, we all know that worked out well.
So you're the reason why all of us were crying here at Boise State when you left.
No, no, I just told the truth. You know, when they asked me about him, I just told the truth.
What have you seen? Have you seen any common themes that some businesses or business owners or cultures sometimes struggle with? Is it that leadership, culture aspect?
There's a number of things. Communication is the big thing that I see that isn't, that people stumble with. Communicating with their either players properly or with their employees. But communication problems probably are the downfall of a lot of businesses and companies. And it can be true on a football team as well.
For people that might say, hey, I want to get this Coach 'em Up book. I want to, order it, get it for my team.
Sure.
All that jazz. Where can people find this book?
Oh, people can go to Amazon, obviously, but I've got a website, coachamupbook.com. It's coachamupbook.com.
Okay.
And a little bit about my story is there, but they can go right in and order the book right there. But it comes already autographed, and there's a lot of enjoyable stories in there. I think people will love to read about, people that they've heard about or know, have seen on TV.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we wanted to make this available.
I'm looking at the back of this book. You're going to see pictures of Coach Skip Hall with Tom Landry and Bart Starr and just the legends of the game. And we didn't mention earlier, but Coach Hall also was on those legendary Washington football teams in the 70s and 80s, and coaching guys like Warren Moon and all that as well too.
Don James.
Don James, yeah, the main. Don James is the man, Hall of Famer.
Well, I think one important thing is at the end of the book, the last chapter, it's got resources for coaches and business leaders, and I might add families, moms, dads, grandpas, and then it goes through a series of principles, like the price for excellence is always paid in advance. Mentorship is the heart of coaching. But anyway, there's a number of good principles in here with explanation that I think is good to have as well.
Like I said, for years I've been hearing your name, but I never got a chance to meet you. So I'm glad we've got to meet and connect, and it's only the beginning. And
Yes, sir.
This book will definitely continue to do great things in the community and culture, and just wishing more blessings and favor to you.
With the Lord's help, He's been good to me over the years, and I want to try to do what I can for Him.
Amen to that. Thanks so much, Skip.
Okay.
Appreciate
Thank you, David.
it. Yes, sir.